Hello again, listeners, and welcome back to the Kotu Classic FPL podcast. I'm your host, Bruce, and as usual, my co-host, Mr. Chama.
But
I come with him, eh?
I'm good, man. How is it going?
Boys are not smiling today, huh?
Yeah, not so much, not so much. Especially my side. It has been a woeful week, so it's just a write-off for me in the first game week. But yeah, it was great to have the football back, I think.
Yeah, FPL is
Yeah,
back.
FPL is back, football is back. Yeah, it
Football is
didn't, it
back.
didn't, it
Yeah,
didn't, it didn't both start on the right side for both of us. Like Manchester United, Liverpool. Like we drew our game and then you lost your
yeah,
game.
yeah, yeah.
But FPL wise, I think you are with the pack, and I am already beginning the chase. So it will be very interesting. I'll be a very different manager this
It will
season.
be interesting. Yeah, it's like I was anticipating it was going to be a very strange and challenging season because things are about to get maybe a bit normal and then go crazy again around the World Cup time. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's good to see how well we do and how well we start. So yeah, we have a lot of things to talk about this episode. Game week 2 preview. Chama has a very slow start, so he's gonna try to shake things up and force things. So it's gonna be an interesting chat. Yeah. So first things first, let's talk about the Kotu Classic Mini League, Chama.
Yep. Yeah, the Kotu Classic Mini League, guys, is still open to join. The league code is NL7FG3. NL7FG3 is the league code of the Kotu Classic Mini League. You are open to join the league up until the end of game week 3. And we have our rules and our conditions, or our terms and our conditions for the league. Like I say, and up to end of game week 3 is this is the last chance you have to join the Kodu Classic Mini League. And last like usual, we always have prizes for our winner, the runner up, the first runner up, and the second runner up. And of course, during the pod also we try to give shout out to the members of the Kodu Classic Mini League. So please join us. And if you can invite friends and yeah, anybody who is FPL, you know, enthusiasts like ourselves. So you can join us and compete with us in the Kodu Classic Mini League. We are 1 week into the season, so let's go,
Yeah.
guys.
So time is running out, guys. So if you want to join, you have until game week 3, end of game week 3 to
Before the
join the
start of
league,
game.
and then we close. Yeah, and then we close the league until the end of the season.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Some wonderful prizes that you've seen there. Some really interesting ones. Also, the league is getting more and more difficult and
Every year.
challenging, which is what we like to challenge ourselves, right? So yeah,
Yeah,
it's getting more
yeah.
difficult. More top tier managers joining the league, to test themselves. So it will be
Definitely,
fun. Yeah,
definitely, definitely.
it's going to be fun. So jumping right into game week 1 review. Chama, I know you have been lamenting about the poor start that you've had, but before we get into that, let's just talk about the results and the reactions.
Yeah, it was
To be
great
honest, yeah.
yeah, yeah, it
Mhm.
was great. And like I say, it was great to have the football back. Even though I missed the
Yeah.
first game, Arsenal versus Crystal Palace, because I was kind of asleep. It was
Yeah,
4 a.m.
I saw parts of it. Yeah,
You
I
saw
saw
parts of
parts
it.
of it.
That's nice. Yeah, when I wake up, I did see the highlights, and
Mhm.
yeah, I was excited to wake up to see that Martinelli's name was on my screen. So that meant he has done something in that game. So I was very happy
Yeah,
for that. But generally, it has been a very exciting week of football in the Premier League. Some surprises here and there, some small teams
mhm.
coming. Like, last week we give our predictions about the teams we think we are going to get relegated and the teams that we think are going
Yeah.
to compete for the league.
Honestly,
I said here Liverpool, but Liverpool started the season on the wrong foot. Of course, it's a draw, they did not lose. And then we talk about Fulham, Bournemouth, these teams, and they were the teams that I think both of us mutually agreed that they're gonna get relegated, and they kind of started in a very strong way. Fulham drawing against Liverpool, Bournemouth winning against Aston Villa. Aston Villa did not have a sniff in that game, and yeah, Leeds United too becoming Leeds United a little bit more again. Wolves, but in terms of games, I think the game that excited me that I enjoy watching the most it has to be the Manchester City game in some way, even though I only had one player from an FPL point of view, but I was so fascinated by the way Manchester City set up and the way they mitigated like the threats of West Ham United. I did not see that coming, and that kind of really played a huge part in the way I played FPL. I kind of underrated Manchester City, and I keep kicking myself for doing that again. I keep doing it every season, and then maybe I will do it in next game week too, because we will talk about
They are the
Cancelo.
best. They are the best team, or one of the best teams.
Yeah. So you should never
Right
underrate.
so,
I keep saying
yeah.
this. You should never underrate them, but I do it sometimes. I say, okay, West Ham is a strong team and things like. But in the end, you see Manchester City how they did against West Ham. But it was a beautiful week of football in the first week, and some top performance from some players. Strikers are coming back to fashion, and that could mean a very bad season of FPL for me, because I'm not usually the one for the strikers, but maybe that might change this season.
Then,
But
then that's my forte. I like strikers, seeing like a really good scoring striker. And the past 2 seasons, it hasn't been a striker season for FPL, to be honest. Yeah, so we might definitely be going to that. I'm really happy if it goes according to plan. The only thing is, some of them are too expensive, so you have to try to see how to balance.
That's my problem with strikers. I feel they are overvalued. Always, they are often overvalued.
The price, overvalued. The game that I watched, actually, I didn't have a chance to watch the Crystal Palace Arsenal. I was in and just getting snippets of action here and there. But the one that I was surprised by, before we get into that, Bournemouth, I did say that we're going to get relegated. I think I want to apologize to all the Bournemouth fans if you have any watching the pod. But
so did you change your mind over a week that they are not going to get relegated? Or I've not changed my mind anyway.
I just saw that they won. I just saw that they won. I don't know. I didn't expect that they were going to win. Obviously, that's why I got some of these Aston Villa guys like Leon Bailey. But when I saw the scoreline, I was like, wow, this is impressive.
Yeah, I heard this guy say, who's it? I listened to one podcast, and they were talking about this relegation. It was the this Arsenal guy and the Tottenham guy podcast. Well, the best of enemies. You know them, right?
I don't think
Expressions, the Tottenham fan, that guy who talks blah blah blah, right?
Yeah.
They were talking about it. They said they don't want to play the smaller teams, just like Arsenal last season. They play Brentford in the first game of the season. Usually, these small teams, they come with a purpose, right? They come to make a statement in the first game. So if you play them away from home in the first game, it is tougher. It's usually tougher than when you play them over in the mid stage of the season. Later on in the season. Okay. So that's something that happened to Fulham and Bournemouth. I don't think Fulham can play like they played against Liverpool over the course of the season. It cannot happen. But because it was the first game, everybody was geared up. It is going to be a difficult one to play against them. So I that kind of happened. Yeah. Anyway, continue.
To be honest, if they play the way that they played, continue playing the way they played Liverpool.
Yeah.
Even Liverpool were surprised that they were getting this kind of performance from Fulham. I was like, shocking. They were all out attacking, each and every 50-50 tackle they were coming out.
They were winning. Yeah, definitely.
I was like, wow, this is it was impressive. It was a good game of football to watch.
It was a good performance. And Liverpool were lucky because the goals we scored were.
Yeah. And you never know, we might be tempted to go Mitrovic again, up top, because doesn't like a cheap striker to put in their teams.
Yeah. We will talk about Mitrovic when we come to my wildcard or stuff like that, maybe.
Okay. Another game also that what do you have noticed? The Spurs Southampton. You see 4, and you expect that Son and Kane will go like mad, will do a madness, and then Son and Kane don't do a madness. Son just got an assist, and that was it. I was like, wow. So what's going on here?
It's not normal, right?
Spurs look really good. They look good. Kulusevski is really tempting me right now. I'm really planning to see if I can fit him into my team.
Definitely.
Somebody to have. Yeah, he's like he upped his level from last season, and he's doing much better now. And he was doing really well last season with all just coming into this the league newly, and then now he's still doing better in the second season. I mean, yeah, he's a good player. I really enjoy.
What happened to your boys, by the way? Because we cannot skip that one.
Manchester United. I didn't watch the game, to be honest, because it was at 4:30 a.m. I'm not waking up again to watch Manchester United games, to be honest.
But you did see the highlights, right? I suppose.
From what I hear, contrary to what fans are saying, we lost. It's not good to lose the first game of the season. It's demoralizing. But then there were some positives in the game, from what I've been able to gather from social media and from watching some of the highlights. There were some positives. I think the way the coach plays, the way he wants the team to play, it might take us a while to get there because we're not used to playing this kind of football.
Yeah.
We just like to all vibes, run and just get counter, whatever. That's what we used to do, just freestyle. But now it's like a structure to it. That's why some players are finding it difficult. But eventually we'll get there. But we need signings. That's the problem because our first team is solid. We have a first 11, but the backup is not good at all. We don't really have if one or two players get injured, then that is a big problem because what you look at the bench and you don't see anybody that can change the game from the bench, which is very surprising. Also, McFred, we are tired of seeing those two midfielders. They're not good. They're not at all. It's whenever I see the team sheet and I see two of them, I was like, I just hang my head low. I was like, this game most likely we're going to lose. You don't want to see that. But I'm expecting better things. Things might go better because Brighton, as we know, it seems like they've gone up a level because they've been playing a certain type of way, and you can see from the past 2 seasons that they were progressing well. The way they play football, it's very difficult to play against them. And maybe this season they might actually finally understand the way the coach wants them to play. So, it's like a team that is changing their style of play and a team who's really well versed in how they play. So you can see the difference. That's why they overpowered us. They did well. They outplayed us out of the parks.
They completely.
Yeah, baby steps. We get there eventually.
That's nice. Chelsea too.
Finally, West Ham, Man City.
I mean Chelsea. Before we skip to West Ham, Chelsea they won 1-0 against Everton. They were not very inspiring. I heard, but yeah, they did the job, which is the important thing at this stage of the season. If you ask me, you went away to Everton. You lost their last season 1-0. You didn't play well. You win the game. I think it's a good thing. Stalin had a goal ruled out for offside, so he could be a very interesting player. But from what I gathered from the Chelsea fans or the generic Chelsea fans on the YouTubers and stuff like that, what they said was Chelsea. It was about their new signings, Stalin, Koulibaly, and Cucurella. This were their 3 best players. James, I heard he made a lot of crosses in the game, 13 or 16, more than any player in the game week. He took all the corners from Chelsea, but none of them was good. So they were criticizing him for that, kind of. But generally, they were not convinced with the performance of the Chelsea. Leicester City too, I want to say a thing or two. They lost. They were winning 2-0 until the 70th minute. Get rid of Dewsbury Hall, who scored an exceptional goal in that game. And then Leicester completely capitulated. They ended up drawing the game 2-2. Even though that was the only change they make in the game. And that was the turning point for the game. And Brentford, for that matter, I think many managers we are talking about Da Silva. They are player. He's not a new player. He was there when they get promoted last season, but he got injured too much. So he actually wears their number 10. So Brentford, we never know who used to wear their. From Gambia. When you're coming from Gambia, number 10 is a big thing.
The team is the number 10.
Yeah, he's a number 10. So he wears their number 10. And I never really see Brentford having a number 10. Eriksen, when he came in, they gave him the number 23 last season, or 26 or something. I cannot remember exactly, but it was in the 20s or 21. But then I saw this guy, Da Silva. They say he was one of their best players actually when they get promoted. He is 4.5 million in the game, in the FPL game. Wow. He came on in the second half. He scored an exceptional goal. You should go and see that goal again. He scored the equalizer in that game. There are a lot of content creators out there talking about him, making a lot of reviews about him. But they have recently signed a new player, so which means the number 10 spot is not going to be his own because of the new player they signed. They signed Damsgaard, the player who replaced Eriksen. Exactly, the player who replaced Eriksen during the Euros, and he had an exceptional Euros. So
in the Euros, exactly, that's where I remember him from. Yeah,
exactly. So he's going to come in straight. So that's Silva at 4.5. If he starts, he could be another Pereira, because we have not talked about Pereira too much. Like Fulham against Liverpool, Mitrovic, Pereira, those were the 2 key players there for Fulham. I think for another 4.5 million, Brentford, they had a very good one.
With Chelsea, I think I think when we started the last episode, you were saying that you expect them to do well or do as well as they did last season. I'm thinking they might find it difficult because of their attacking. The striking. Timo Werner has left. Lukaku has left. So therefore, who's going to score all the goals? Or they do know how to create, but the problem is converting those creations into goals. That's the problem now, and you can't expect Kai Havertz to be a number 9. He's more of a creator too as well.
But they have the other guy too, right? Boroha. Armando Broja. We all rated him last
Broha
season.
is an upcoming. He's not really the finished product yet. He went on loan to Southampton. He did well initially, but then just
He didn't
I
have
had
the
in
edge.
mind him. He didn't do well at all in the second part of
Yeah.
the season.
But
So,
don't you think if he's in the more quality team, like in terms of creativity, he could do better?
they need a striker. They need a top striker, like somebody who's one of the best in the world right now, top 10. That's what they need. A big team needs a big striker. To be honest, that's what.
I can
That's why I'm really having doubts about these James. You have the Jameses and them, the attacking fullbacks, but then if they don't have a striker, then they don't convert those chances. That's the problem.
Definitely.
No.
Yeah, you wanted to talk about Man City, right?
I didn't watch the game. Honestly, I guess that Haaland scored, took the penalty, and you talk about the game more because since you actually watched the game.
Yeah, I was half asleep and half watching the game, but I think I saw most part of the game. To be honest, it was a very, very good performance from Manchester City. It was. I think I shared one video from Antonio, like on the group. He said after the game he went to talk to a couple of Manchester City players. Guys, you have to excuse me today. I am a bit, under the weather, but it'll be fine. I say Antonio, he spoke to a couple of players from Manchester City, and what he wanted to know was what were you thinking before we started the game? Before the game? What was Pep's thinking? He said because when we play West Ham in the past, in the last 2 seasons, the counter-attack has been our problem. West Ham is a very good counter-attacking team. Last season, if you remember, 2 goals from counter-attack. Bowen, he break their line twice. He scored 2 goals. West Ham were 2-0 up, and Man City have to chase the game, and then they drew 2-2. And this has been the case. West Ham is one of the best counter-attacking teams in the league, to be honest, because of Antonio's strength. Bowen, he's very fast. Those 2 players, they can kill you on the break. Against Liverpool too, likewise, they almost kill us, especially Bowen. So he said, then Pep realized this is the problem. So what the aim of Pep was to counter the counter-attack. Understand? Like stop the counter-attack from happening. And that's when he brought in his 2 fullbacks, Cancelo and Walker. They played with Rodley in the middle. So if City are playing with the ball, if City have the ball, Cancelo and Rodley, they go into the middle. Cancelo and Walker goes into the middle as another 3 number 6. Now it's like they have flat 3, and then Gundogan and KDB, they will move into the half spaces. Half spaces. Whilst what's his name? Grealish and Foden, they will open the pitch wide. So that's why the prospects of Grealish, even Grealish and Foden, I think if they are gonna play like this, they are not gonna, even if they start regularly, they're not gonna be so impactful. They are not gonna be so important in FPL. This is another observation I kind of feel. Because all this what this opens is KDB and Gundogan are high up the pitch, and Haaland is always running behind. So the ball is gonna fall onto KDB and Gundogan, and then Haaland makes the run. They put in the through ball. Once they do that,
the true pass from KDB was just was superb. I saw
both goals. Actually, both goals. The first goal was Gundogan getting the ball in the half space in between the lines, turn, and then Haaland make the run, put in the through ball. Haaland make his sprint, try to round the keeper. The keeper fouled him for penalty. Haaland take the penalty, score. The next one too, likewise. KDB get the ball from in between the lines. Haaland make the diagonal run. KDB put the ball through, and Haaland finish it. So this is something we will see. You know this is going to happen, but it's very hard to stop it. It was very, very impressive from a City point of view. Because my biggest concern when it comes to City before the start of the season was Pep, like I say, he want to control games. But if he have a number 9 who's not going to be part of the game, that reduces the number of players he have, because every number counts. Every head counts when it comes to controlling the game, because you want the player to drop into the middle, you want the goalkeeper to combine. So everything is kind of jam-packed in the middle. So you can pass the ball around, you can dominate, you can outnumber your opponents in specific areas of the pitch, and then you can pass the ball. Anytime you have 4 players and they have 3 players, you have the advantage. That is football. So to lose Haaland, for Haaland not to be part of that, that might kind of take away the control that City want in a game, but still they are having it. And that is very scary going forward.
Okay, so enough about the results and the reaction. That was an interesting one about Man City. I'm from the red side of the town, so honestly, I just don't want to give them any credit at all. So
I don't want to give them credit, but I just appreciate when I see things.
It's scary to see them like have the best team and then improve upon that team with the best striker in the world right now.
And then you have Pep Guardiola, who can always think like outside the box. How can I make the best? And the beautiful thing was the objective is I want two things here. I have a new striker. I have to service him. But we play a team, they counter-attack. So we have to mitigate those two things. How do we do it best? In a way, it is very productive. And then he find the answer in one game. So it was so crazy, to be honest.
A genius, honestly.
He's a genius, to be honest. He's a genius.
So who's your pick for the player of the week or players of the week that you think we should watch out for?
Yeah, I think this week, if you look at the players, I think Haaland is basically the easy one you can pick, but it has to be Mitrovic. His performance, everybody ruled him out before the start of the season.
And from his price point,
and his price point, exactly. The performance he did against Liverpool, I think it was exceptional. He was completely the menace for Liverpool in that game. I was not really happy with the performance of Liverpool. Like Klopp said, the attitude was not great.
He
gave us a lot of problem.
He gave Van Dijk the 30 time. To be honest, I was like, I've never seen Van Dijk sweat like that in the game before.
Absolutely,
he was all over him.
Absolutely, and I know another thing. Trent was getting a lot of stick, and I also gave him some stick for the first goal. But when you are coming up against a player like him, in the air, he's just gonna bully you.
Difficult there. That's
it's very difficult. He's just gonna bully you, and I'm sure if any other player was there, he's coming from behind. Maybe even Van Dijk, he can. When he put his arm on your shoulders, he's gonna get on top of you. And it was just a top performance from him. I think he was the best player of the week.
Yeah. My player of the week is somebody who my team lost out on to you guys. I guess you can Darwin Núñez. I think you point out watching the game because this is the only game, so I might be biased about this game. It's the only game that I watched.
Yeah.
He came on in the second half to replace Firmino, right?
Yeah.
It's funny, like as he comes on and he plays, he seems like he's been part of the team for a longest time. And that's very scary. You understand? Like all he has to do is just to make the runs. And it's like in a team that attacks as much, if you make the runs, you are always like your chances of scoring like multiply instantly.
Yeah.
As he came, like the first thing he did was like I think about the first few minutes he had a few chances, even though he didn't really get the ball, but you can see that. So I feel like he's going to score a lot of goals. The problem is now, right? We already have 3 Liverpool players in that team. How do you fit a striker who's going to score a lot of goals this season? I'm sure he's going to score. That's the fix. Is a given because at some point he's going to replace Firmino in the team as a number 1 striker. So how do you try to fit him into your team? I already have Diaz. You have Trent and Salah. Those ones are like essentials. If you want to go against them, you are on your own. You might probably have the worst season in your life in FPL. But then
the FPL goal is against Salah, from start. If you that's Mark's support. I know Mark.
He's up against Salah?
Yeah, he started the season without Salah. So but I get his case, but it was a little bit,
It's very brave, but I'm also thinking the same way, but it takes a lot of guts to do that.
Yeah. If you wanna play, if you wanna enjoy the game. Yeah, if you play to enjoy
the game without stress-free, you have Salah in your team. You don't need that stress in your life, honestly.
Absolutely.
He's my player of the week. Individual teams. So let's go to our FPL teams. Even though we didn't do well, but
you did well. 63 is not a bad start. I think you were ahead of the average. Well, if I average 63, it's not be bad for the season.
That was my target going into the game, but I could have had more if it could have. Rashford could have easily been Martinelli, and then who else? I think there was another move that I made that could have resulted in something else. Gabriel could have been Zinchenko. So those are the only things that I kind of like was skirting around before the deadline. But to be honest, I think it could have been that 63 all out. It could have been better, but I'll take the 63 any day because it was rough. The players that we expected to do well didn't really do well at all. Interesting. The Gabriel Jesus was scoring 6 goals for fun in the preseason. All of a sudden, 2 points. Kane was doing well, and all of a sudden, Anyway, let me go through my team. I had 4-4-2, standard 4-4-2 going into the game. I had Mendy in goal with clean sheet, 7 points. Trent with 1 point, very disappointing. Cancelo with 7, Gabriel with 7. James with 7. So my defense was pretty much where my points came from. Salah with 24 points. Everybody captained Salah, or most people captained him. Bailey, disappointing with 2 points. Rashford, disappointing 2 points. Luis Diaz, it's like watching the game, I wanted to cry because he hit the bar. He had so many chances and ball just refused to go in. So I don't know what else to do.
Yeah, he had a few
Jesus with 2 points, King with 2 points. So all out 63. Game week rank of 2.7 million. Which is, I don't know. At this stage of the season, game week 1, we have about 8.7 million players. And then the rank is 2.7.
Yeah. But I don't worry too much about it. Like I kind of.
It's just game week 1. It's game week 1. So yeah. So that's my team. How about you?
Yeah, like I said, my game week was a write-off for me. That was a terrible start for me. 46 points. I know I used to have very bad starts in FPL. I kind of brought back those days. I think I talked too much about my good start from last season and the season before that. This season was inevitable. It has to be a very bad start for me. Yeah, but I went for it. I had the aim to have the strong start instead. I wanted to go for the the team that will give me the best start possible, and it ended up giving a very difficult start. The team Manchester City, like I say, I kind of underrated them. That I think I should not be doing. And I backed the Tottenham boys, that is Son and Kane, and they didn't come out good for me. Son came out with an assist. He was the captain for me. But yeah, for Tottenham to score 4 goals and Kane and Son to be involved in only one assist is very strange. But yeah, it is what it is. So in goal, I had Ward, the 2 Leicester. I went with the double Leicester goalkeepers, the 4 millions. And then I had Ake over Cancelo. Robertson, Trent, Liverpool, yeah, they disappointed, 1 point each. And then Nico Williams, he came out with a 0 point. And Salah, it was my best performer, of course, with 12 points. Martinelli, he also did some bits. Bailey, just 2 points. And then up top, Kane and Gabriel, they both gave me 2 points. It wasn't a great week. It wasn't a great week, but I wouldn't say the team was bad going into the game week. But I feel I was a bit too naive, and I was a bit too one-dimensional, which kind of played a part. Because like I'm gonna be on a wildcard in this game week. When I hit that wildcard and I see the window of opportunity, what you can do with the wildcard, it tells me that despite this season being a 16 game week season, like being a short term planning where you have the wildcard, you have to play the wildcard. I see the window that it was a season where you need to plan long term because of the fixtures. Like at the top of the top of tickers, like at the top of fixture tickers, it is Liverpool, Manchester City, and Arsenal.
The big ones, yeah.
The 3 big, not necessarily the only 3 big teams, but Liverpool, Manchester City. If you have them at the top of the ticker, you can own 3 players here, own 3 players there, and then be comfortable going forward. Arsenal, likewise, the way they started the season, you will want to they have some cheap options there. Tottenham players, they are not also bad in the fixture here. So the good teams have the good fixtures for the long term. So if that is the case, why should I play a short-term game? So that was my thinking, all right? My aim was to have the very strong start from the start of the season and then go. But then if I was open up with my ideas and say, okay, maybe I can, despite this being a short-term season, I can think about a long-term strategy. So I was so one-dimensional in a way. So that was a bit naive from myself, but it's a lesson and something I will learn from. Anyways, yeah. It wasn't great, but I will take it. I'll move.
Yeah, I mean, it's just game week 1. So this is the time for us to really strategize and start getting into the game proper. So yeah, for me, I just believe that it's game week 1. My plan was just to have a average start, not too bad. Just make sure I don't get left behind and then see how we go from there. I still think that game week 1, 2, 3 is a bit early. So that's why I'm just trying to see, like, just taking notes and then watching as many, or listening to as many podcasts as possible and just going on social media. Taking notes, and because people watch games and they have
some opinions,
their own analysis of players to watch and things like that. So now is the time.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So for our Kotu Classic Mini League, we usually have the manager of the week, even though it's crazy right now. Because,
yeah.
things are. It's been rough, but then 88 for game week 1. That's pretty good.
Fine FC.
So Fine FC, congrats for being the first manager of the week for this new season. 88 points all out. It's a like
It's a solid start. 41.
It's a solid start. Yeah, it's a solid start. So in his team, he had who in goal?
Raya.
Yeah, let's go through it. Raya in goal.
Trent,
I see
Zinchenko, and Cancelo. And then in the middle, he had Declan Rice, which is a very weird pick. Salah, captain, Saka, Kulusevski, and Andreas Pereira. He have Andreas Pereira too. Haaland and Jesus up top. Yeah, Rice is a pretty.
This is if you look at it, apart from a few, it's almost template, right?
It's almost template.
It's kind of template, except for the Kulusevski. Kulusevski was the one I think that probably like gave him most of the points, and Zinchenko.
Yeah, Kulusevski and Zinchenko, and they return big. So yeah. So yeah, and
so congrats for being the first manager of the week.
Yep.
And finally, we go into game week 2 preview. So
the table, how we see. I know it's not necessary, but
it's gonna be messy.
Yeah, Abdullah
anyway, but yeah, let's just go through the top. What is it? 5 or 6?
Top 5. Yeah, in the Kotu class.
Top 5. Oh yeah, in for the Kotu class league, top 5.
You have
obviously the manager of the week.
That is Fine FC.
Karim Fine FC. Second is 82 points. Antuman GW2, the pinnacle. Joint third is in the money Tapa. That's in the FC with 80 points. Also in third is Cam Ryan, Stranger Inks. That's a nice one. 80 points as well. Also joined triple fifth. 3 people in fifth. Jibril Fall, FC. He's always just from the start, he's already there.
Yeah, he was number 2 last season, right? Last season, he finished second.
That's nice. Nice start. Pratik Aurora, I also remember this name.
That's a very popular name, yeah.
Nice. And then also Tiengo.
Yeah, he's a very good manager. Tiengo is a very good manager. He is the FPL planner in Twitter, and he does some great stuff on FPL planning. I think he has a free FPL, like, what is it? Spreadsheets to do your planning, just like the one Ben Krelim have. He has a very sophisticated one. So, yeah. But he's a top manager. Yeah, he's a top manager. He finished in the top 5,000 2 times in the last 2 seasons. So, you can imagine.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's going to be very tough. Guys. We have a very strong competition coming this season.
It's going to be tough, but yeah, we welcome the challenge. Yeah, we welcome the challenge.
Yeah.
So yeah, going into game week 2 preview, we just go through some of the fixtures that we feel like might be some avenue for points. Yeah, Chama, you start. Which one do you think jumps out to you as like a points magnet for this week?
Yeah, I think the 2 games that way, the standout fixtures are Liverpool, Crystal Palace, and Manchester City, Bournemouth. The Liverpool, Crystal Palace is not as easy as it seems, but of course it's Liverpool and they are playing at Anfield, so you will expect them to turn up, especially after a very bad performance against Crystal Palace, against Fulham. And Liverpool. One thing I know about them is usually when they have this kind of bad performances and club gets really angry. You can see you get a reaction. He gets a reaction from his players usually, so that's why I'm anticipating a very good performance from Liverpool. And like you say, you mentioned Darwin. Darwin was very good, so maybe he might get a start there. But the Manchester City fixture is the one. Manchester City against against Bournemouth. Even though Bournemouth did well, won 2-0 in the first game, I think it's a different ball game.
You feel like they don't stand a chance against Man City.
Yeah, it feels like that. But I feel I don't, I'm not underrating but I kind of rate Scott Parker a little bit as a manager. He's very good defensively. I don't know why we did not capture him when it comes to the preseason, even though I still back them to get relegated. But he's kind of the better manager when you come, like, if I want to compare him to his colleagues, to his peers, the Gerrards and the Lampards, I think he's the better one.
You feel better than them, really?
He won against Gerrard last week. And I feel he is kind of a little bit different. I saw a bit of them last season, but still I don't think they have the team to do well against Manchester City. But that's the one, Maybe not a heavy loss. Maybe you don't expect 5-6-0. Maybe. This is what
Maybe
I'm thinking.
a 2-0 or something
Maybe a
like
2
that.
0
Something
something a
respectable.
respectable result they will get. Yeah.
Uh, I'm backing the Arsenal Leicester because I don't know what's happening, but Leicester defensively since the second half of last season they've been struggling seriously with their defense. Even though Fofana is back from injury, and who else do they have there that's in the defense? To be honest, I don't know why, because Leicester used to be very good defensively, and all of a sudden they concede all these goals and um, getting the last minute equalizer and stuff. I don't know, but anyways, I'm thinking that the false start from Gabriel Jesus, this is his chance for him to, for some, for him to redeem himself.
Uh-huh.
Because I think he came close to scoring. So I think he will definitely need to restart his season with Leicester. And I'm seeing goals. I don't know whether there will be clean sheets, but hopefully there will be a lot of goals in this game. Obviously. So that's the
that's a good
game
one.
that I'm backing to come on. Also, I think Southampton Leeds might be, because
Yeah,
Leeds
I want to say
surprised me
that.
by winning the first. Yeah, I wrote them off, to be honest, because I was thinking they were going to struggle this season. Just like last season, they struggled. And now that one of their most attacking players has left, Rafinha, I think they will struggle for goals. But Bamford is back.
Yeah.
I think that he's almost back to his best now. So we might probably keep an eye out for him. You never know.
Yeah, and Leeds said actually they have this player called Aronson, this American guy. I hear a lot of things about him on Twitter. He almost scored, and I think they got the own goal. It ended up being an own goal for Wolves in that game, but he was very impressive in that game. He's 5.5 in the game, and it's a player it's a player we should watch out for too on Leeds.
Yeah, also Harrison is also there. I heard that he's now one of the top guys there since Rafinha has left. So he might be somebody who's a creative hub in the team. And if they have their main striker back, he's somebody that we need to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Aston Villa, Everton, talking of Gerrard and Lampard, they go head to head this weekend. And that could be a very interesting one too. Because
the first game of the week.
The first game of the week. Both of them lost their game, the first game of the season. Gerrard is causing a lot of headlines at Aston Villa. He took off Tyrone Mings of the captaincy. He did not start Tyrone Mings in the first game of the season. So there's a lot of headlines going there. I know he's a very, authoritative person.
Strict, yeah.
He's a kind of strict, so those kind of things is going on there, and he's not winning games. It's not gonna help. So it will be an interesting one, that fixture, Everton against Aston Villa in the first game of the week. And Wolves, we are not talking about the smaller teams like Wolves and Fulham too. Could be a very interesting one. Wolves have completely changed the way they play. Now they play 4-4 at the back instead of 5 at the back. And Fulham,
Mitrovic, their defender, their talismanic defender.
Everton, so. Exactly. Their skipper, that is Kotu. He's now to Everton. Now Mitrovic is coming up against that new defensive line, so it could be an interesting one. But the big game of the week too, we have to talk a bit about it. Chelsea Tottenham. That's the big game of the week.
Yeah,
it's gonna be very interesting, right?
It's gonna be interesting in a footballing point also, but it's gonna see how well Chelsea can survive this season if they don't make transfers. I heard that they're almost signing the young, and I think a few other transfers.
Yeah.
But I don't think they prepared well for this season, and it is just a testament to see how well they will survive this season, because Spurs they really had a good preseason, and you can tell that they signed a lot of good players.
Yeah.
They have a really good backup. The bench is like really superb bench that they have. Like,
they definitely.
Players like Bissouma to come in, and you have Richarlison, who hasn't even started the game yet.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
They're looking really solid right now. So it's going to be an interesting game to see like which areas of both teams like is lacking, because Chelsea is a good defensive team, even though they're struggling. But Spurs now they're firing on all cylinders.
Absolutely.
I'm really looking forward to watch this game, honestly.
Yeah, when I saw our bench in the game week, that is Liverpool's bench before we game started, and then we played just before Spurs played, and then when the Spurs game come on, and then they show their lineup, and I saw the bench.
Yeah,
I was feeling inferior. Like I feel like Spurs is at another level. Of course, Liverpool have a lot of injuries at that moment in time, but still, the Spurs bench was very, very solid. Like, I think you pointed out, and it could be very important for them over the course. But when they play Chelsea, they kind of choke. I don't know why. They have not won against Chelsea in a very, very long time. Every single time Chelsea is, yeah. So,
Really?
you know,
I never noticed. I never noticed.
yeah, they haven't won in a very long time. I was actually watching the preview from the Arsenal, the Tottenham fan I was telling you, expressions, and another Chelsea fan, going at each other, going on. And the guy was keep telling him, whenever you come to our place, it's always gonna be the same. No matter how bad the team is, we always gonna get the result. And it kind of shows. It will be surprised if
That
Chelsea,
should be interesting. That should be very interesting. I never noticed that before.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they did well. They backed the manager because they qualified for Champions League, and now they're going to be competing in all the competitions. And if you need a very big, and reliable squad to be able to rotate your players to play in each competition, and it's going to be important for them. To be honest, I'm really happy with how well they did. They did well in this transfer window.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on to this is the core of this episode. Chama's Wildcard.
My Wildcard.
All you, Chama. So what are your plans? What are your plans for this? Oh, okay. What are your plans?
Yeah, of course. I this is the draft now. This is the current draft of the Wildcard. It can change slightly. It might not change. But yeah, I think the thoughts, I know it's crazy. It sounds crazy to be wildcarding in game week 2. I will never advise it. I will never come into this podcast after game week 1 and then somebody asks me, do you think it's wise? I will tell you, no, it's not wise to wildcard in game week 2. I will tell you that. Plain and simple, yeah. But I am doing it right now. And that is because sometimes you know your team better than everybody else, right? You look at your team and then you know what the problem in your team is. Is this a team that you want to go forward with? It is the team that was really a mess. You have to be real to yourself. You have to be true to yourself. And that is what I did in game week 1. I saw my team. I was not happy with the team that I started with. And I was always open to doing the early wildcard. Some might say it's a Kneejerk or something. But then once I did the draft, once I did the planning over a period of time, and then I see, okay, this sounds good. So it's sometimes difficult to express the thoughts and all those kind of things. But I think it was necessary for my team after what I did in game week 1, after the way I started the team game week, thinking just to have a strong start, and then the players that I backed to do that for me backfired, and then now they are all in a ditch. Like for example, Tottenham. I'm talking about Chelsea and Tottenham right now. I'm not seeing a Tottenham win despite Chelsea's form right now. Chelsea, of course, they won their first game. Tottenham won their first game. Tottenham is looking like the more appealing team at the moment, but I'm not seeing a Tottenham win in that game. So if I'm not seeing that, why would I spend like more than 25% of my budget on 2 Tottenham players to go and play into that game week? Then that is not going to help me. So unless I take hits to bring in the Manchester City players or something like that, and that was not the only problems I have spotted in my team. I see a lot of other problems in my team that I think I need to address. Understand? Like the goalkeeping situation, I have 2 Leicester keepers. They play against Arsenal away. So I would have done it if I had the good points. But then why not I just fix all these problems once and for all? Of course, we don't have enough information right now to do those, to fix all those problems. But I believe if you ask me what is my strength in FPL, I would tell you it's the way I manage my team. That is something that I feel that I can do. Like if I have a team, to manage the team for a long period of time, doing hits here and there, trying to manage the team because I plan ahead all the time. So that is my biggest trend when it comes to playing FPL. It's not, of course, the captaincy. It's not last season. It looked like it was the captaincy, but I feel the captaincy was a problem. That's why I tried to fix that. So I'm talking too much before just to give context why I did the wildcard. But then the wildcard, I came up with this team. And this is what I start with. I go with 2 goalkeepers, Ward and Sanchez. I see that they rotate their fixtures very well. I see some top managers, they went with this in the game week 1 because they have already, opened up to that long-term thinking. And I think this is the very good combination when it comes to rotating these 2 goalkeepers. And then in defense, I went with Double City and Liverpool. I went with Trent and I went with Walker, Ake, Zinchenko, and 1 Chelsea defender, that is Cucurella, that I went with for the start, but that is also due to funds. I would have preferred to go with James, 6 million, 1 million more, but I'm just going to take that risk with Cucurella in anticipation that he will start once I need him. I don't need him this week. I don't need a Chelsea player this week because they play Tottenham. Still, even though I back Chelsea to win the game, but I think it's going to be difficult. Tottenham have some good attacking players. So I would rather don't have a Chelsea player or a Tottenham player in the game because you don't know where it's going to fall. Like you see, I have Kulusevski on my bench at the start. I have Salah in the middle, Martinelli, Neto, Kulusevski, and Andreas Pereira. Those are my 5 midfielders. And then up top, I went heavy, a little bit heavy. Not so heavy, but a little bit heavy. I went against Gabriel Jesus for now. And I brought in Haaland and Mitrovic. So this is what I want to go with for the start of my wildcard. But it's also with a lot of long-term thinking. This is completely different from how I was thinking last week, where I was only focused on three game weeks. I took this week to really look at the fixtures and then see what I can plan and then, move it. What's your thoughts on my wildcard for now?
It's funny, this team is like one of the teams that I will try to make transfers into. Like the Darwin Núñez situation, because I have Diaz. Even though I know Diaz is going to score a lot of goals. But seeing Darwin Núñez come in and then get the chances that he did, and then when he came in, the Diaz opportunities or his influence kind of waned in the team.
Yeah. He dropped in.
So you can see that
he was so deep.
Once he came in and did everything just switched to Darwin. So that tells me that if Darwin starts having more game time, that's going to be a problem for Diaz. That's how I see it. I might be wrong. So,
I agree with you. I want to interject a little bit there. Like when we had Mane and Salah, these were all minded to go forward, right? Diaz is not so much like that. He likes to play on the ball too much. So he likes to be on the ball, dribble here and there. That is his main traits. So he's not an instinctive player who want to run behind all the time. So it only makes sense that he plays with a striker who's gonna make the runs forward. Like when he plays with Jota, or when he plays with, when Mane was playing there, Mane will always make the run. Mane can drop sometimes, but Mane will always, his instinct is always to run behind. But when he plays with Firmino, then both of them drop. That's why we struggle in the game, to be honest, at some point, because both of them will drop, wanna play in the game. We don't have anybody to cause, and Salah was so isolated because he's the only one running forward. But usually we have Mane running, we have Salah running, then we have two players. We give the defense more problems to think about. But now you only think about Salah. So once Núñez came in, there was a problem. Two players are running behind now. And Diaz was, even though he got a few chances, even the chances he got, he hit the post with, he got the ball, he has to dribble past the player, then take the shot. It was not like running behind the defender and then finishing. It's kind of different. Yeah. He can do it sometimes, but more often than not.
He likes running with the ball and dribbling.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing. So when I saw that, I was like, Darwin, it's time for me to start thinking about him now. So I think having Darwin Núñez in your team is really good. Another thing also is Mitrovic, obviously. You talked about Mitrovic. So having a third striker who really showed himself that he's really capable of being the Mitrovic we all expected him to be 2 or 3 seasons ago. Now he's finally showing up. I would like to have him in my team. Kulusevski. So Darwin Núñez, Mitrovic, Kulusevski. Those three are I think they might be template for in the next few game weeks if things continue the way they're supposed to continue.
Yeah.
The only problem I have is Walker and Ake. I know the reason why you have them in your team because they are Man City. Obviously, it's Man City. They keep clean sheets because they always attack them. Yeah. But I kind of feel like against when they played you guys in the Community Shield, you can tell that the defense was a bit shaky.
Yeah.
But against West Ham, like you said, they changed their tactics, and because they had the sixes, that means that covered the defense, so they didn't give any chance. But if they should revert back, if they are playing the normal team, 2 of these players, they have mistakes in them.
Yeah.
At a particular point in time, they will commit mistakes. I don't know about Walker, but mostly Ake. For some reason, he always makes mistakes, and his mistakes are always detrimental to the team. They will concede 1 or 2 goals, but they will win, obviously. But that having him in the team is like having a cheap defender who might get a clean sheet. But the problem is he has mistakes. Also, he's not attacking. So if you he's not attacking, but he commits mistakes and he doesn't get the bonus points, maybe he has the headers one so there. So for me, Ake is not really somebody that I want to consider. That's just one. Zinchenko, I really liked at the beginning of the season because he's from Man City and he's coming to Arsenal just like Jesus, and he came with a point to prove. So he's going to be very attacking, like we saw in the first game.
Yeah.
He also Neto. I don't know, for some reason, I like him as a player. maybe that was my bias having it in my team. But then Podence and Neto, the difference with Podence is that he's a short guy, but he's very direct. Very direct player. Like if you watch him play, for some reason he's direct. Neto is like more enticing to watch. When you think, oh, this guy is a very good player, But between the two of them, I think I'll take Potency.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the rest, Cucurella is a very good player. Even though, like, I think there are better options for me. Chelsea is like a wait and see for now. See how they do like in the next few games. But that's an easy solution now. You can transfer him for somebody else in the next few games. That's okay. But I think this team is fine. Apart from the Man City choices,
Yeah. I think we can talk briefly about that one. The Man City ones. I will start with the Man City and then Neto. I think you mentioned about Neto and
Neto and Podence, yeah.
Neto and Podence. Okay. Let me start with the Man City. Addressing the Man City one first. Yeah, I think you highlighted about mistakes. When it comes to defending, I don't really mind who makes the mistake. Like if Ederson makes the mistake, Man City concede the goal. The whole 5 defense concede the goal, right?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, normally if you have Diaz and Laporte in the team, very rarely do they concede, right?
Okay.
They're very slim mistake, but most of the time, I don't know whether it's his concentration or whatever it is, but his mistakes always leads to something that's detrimental, most likely a goal.
Okay, so you're in a way, because of Ake is in the Manchester City defense at the point in time.
Yeah, they are more likely to concede.
They are likely, they are less likely to keep clean sheets than when Laporte.
Exactly.
That point, I 100% agree with that point. But despite that, I still rate them as the best defense in the league. Despite that, without Laporte, because the way they play, because the way they control games. Liverpool control in some way sometimes, but Liverpool sometimes is an end-to-end stuff, right? Sometimes we have to rely on the goalkeeper. We have to rely on the goalkeeper to make the save. Sometimes we have to do that. Manchester City really rely on Ederson because they control the ball, they control the play, they deprive you from the ball, so you don't have chances to score, to hurt them. So if they keep the ball well, then everything is fine. But in terms of conceding a goal, I don't mind if Ake makes a mistake and then they concede a goal. Because it's either Ake, if he gets it, Walker lost his clean sheet, Cancelo loses his clean sheet, Ederson loses his clean sheet, Diaz, everybody loses his clean sheet. And what I believe about Manchester City is they are defenders, they are attractive because of clean sheets. They are defenders, they are attractive because, and this includes Cancelo. I know people will say no. Last season he got 1 goal and 11 assists, FPL assists. But in real life, in real football life, he got 1 goal and 5 assists. But I think he took more shots than anybody in the league. He was close to Trent when it comes to key passes, but of course Trent was higher than him. So in terms of key passes, in terms of shots and all those kind of things, he does these things a lot. So when you are watching the football, when you are watching the game, or when you are looking at the numbers, either way, you will see him a very threatening player. He's a very, very threatening player. I'm not gonna be at ease watching Cancelo, not owning him. But I still believe the Manchester City defenders are more appealing because of clean sheets than what they offer you going forward.
I think it's because of clean sheets. It might on the surface it might look like because of the attacking returns.
Yeah. So exactly. But Liverpool is different, right? Because of Trent is different. Trent
is the attacking.
Robertson is the attacking input that they give you. Yeah. That's why they are more appealing than the clean sheets that they keep. So if that is the case, if what I believe is the case, that the clean sheets is the more avenue for points from Manchester City defenders. And then right now, Laporte is injured. He's out till September. Manchester City only have 2 fullbacks in Walker and Cancelo. Mm-hmm. So it now the Champions League has not started yet. Another
factor.
Who is gonna be playing for Manchester City at the back? It's gonna be.
I think he was supposed to even go to Chelsea, but I think because of
they stopped the move.
They blocked the move. Yeah, they had to make sure that he doesn't go through. Yeah,
exactly. And Stones is a threat for Ake, but if you know Pep Guardiola very well, or if you listen to people who follow Pep Guardiola and try to analyze him well, they will tell you he likes to have 2 natural players playing at his centre backs. The left, a left centre back, and at the right, a right centre back, because he likes to keep the ball.
Okay.
He likes the ball to flow. Because if a right footed centre back is playing on the left, it is kind of always obvious that they always pass the ball this way. It's difficult for them to pass the ball this way because of the way the ball. I read an article about this thing. I don't want to delve deep into it, but he always want to have a left-footed centre back because of the passing, how the passing goes, the angle of the passing, and things like this. These are all some little details. That's why he want to play a left-footed centre back. So if all these players are going to play, if all I believe is going to happen, like Walker is going to play regularly, Ake is going to play regularly. If they keep the clean sheet, they all share the clean sheet together. If Cancelo gives a 2 or 3 extra FPL points, or 2 or 3 extra attacking returns in that period, but I get these players for 2 million cheaper than that. So he is supposed to get more points than them because he's more expensive than them. So yeah, that is my thinking behind it.
I understand the logic behind it. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. I know this week Cancelo is gonna score a 20-pointer, and then and then he will humble me very well. But that will be it. So next week we talk about Podence and Neto. I think you make a good point. I think Podence is very short.
He's a short guy, but he's close control, and he's always direct. He's always looking.
He's quite direct. He's quite direct. That 5.5 million player, I just wanted to keep a 5.5 because of Aronson. They are talking about the Leeds player. There's a lot of Damsgaard who went to Brentford. I want to see all these players, right? So that's why
it's a good price point to have. Yeah.
Exactly. So I want to have that 5.5 price point in my team, and I have the 8.0 price plus point in my team in Kulusevski, because we know what is happening at the 8 million range. There is Foden.
There's a lot of players there.
There is Taka.
Mount.
There's Mount. So these players you don't know. So these 2 price points.
A lot of them.
Exactly. You want to keep it, right? That's why I want to keep that 5.5. That's why I downgraded James to Cucurella, and then go with these 2 players. This is my thinking behind that. That's it. I
think it's a well thought of wildcard, and this is, for me, I always believe that even though it's like, I mix up the wildcard, I think playing FPL all these years will teach you that you play the wildcard when you need it.
Yeah.
You don't wait because I always play the wildcard in game week 6. I'm going to wait for game week 6. If you need it now, you play it now. That means between now and game week 6, you would have probably been ahead, or maybe close to, you would have been ahead of where you're supposed to be. But, exactly. I kind of believe that this is the right time to play it. If you need it, play it. And this team is a team that most people want right now. And it's going to take us 2 or 3, 4 game weeks to get there. So
I will join the wildcard in game week 16. It's not a long way before the World Cup, because that time we have the break. Everybody have the break, and then everybody has used their wildcard. So that's the time I will really judge if the wildcard was a success or not. So 16 game weeks, and let's see how it goes.
Yeah, it's a good one. I think you also explain what we are supposed to talk about next, the Cancelo. Just speak a bit about it, because we were talking about it before the pod, and you kind of say that this is the reason why you went without him. You already pointed out that it's because of you have 2 instead of 1. I mean, they're gonna have more points if they keep the clean sheet. But also you're saying that Pep, the way you explained that, if the way Pep plays against counter-attacking teams, right? That means his influence is limited in the team, not as attacking anymore. So
definitely.
I think you already mentioned that. So just shed light on that, and then.
Yeah. Just like I said, when they played against West Ham, the aim was to counter the counter-attack and then stop the counter-attack from happening. Because if they stop that, they will control the game, and then they know they are confident enough to create a chance and score or something like that. And West Ham, as we know, their plan against these teams is usually to counter-attack. So Pep tried to do that, and how he did that was he played 2 fullbacks that I say Cancelo and Walker. They both come and invert into the middle. Then they join Rodri and become a 3. Then the 2 midfielders who were supposed to be part of Rodri, they push forward and then be behind Haaland. And because as we know, KDB and Gundogan, they are the best passers in this team. They are one of the best passers in this team. Like when it comes to putting in those final balls, the final through ball for the striker, you cannot get anything better. And then you have Grealish and Foden creating the width. Grealish and Foden, they spend the whole game on the touchline. Like, I know people will say, okay, this is not the Grealish we know at Aston Villa 3 holding the ball running. But he was doing what Pep wanted from him. I can remember one quote from Thierry Henry. He said he was playing a game at Barcelona for Pep Guardiola. He played on the left wing, right? But he did not stay on the left wing. He made a run inside to the box and scored a goal. Pep Guardiola subbed him off. But just because he did not stay where he wanted him to create the weight. Even though he scored for him, Pep took him off because he's not doing what he wanted. And Grealish and Foden, I think they will start again this week because they did exceptionally well. Even though in FPL wise, Grealish now you will have to hope that he crossed the ball, and Haaland score and he get an assist. But you will not see him get in the end of those chances if they play like this. And what's Cancelo's role in this game, in this formation is, like I say, he's kind of a defensive midfielder who forms the three in the middle. So that means Cancelo is not going to be making those overlapping runs where he will create chances for his attackers, or he will not be making those runs into the box where he can finish chances or also create chances. In the game, I think Cancelo had 2 touches in the box, and it was so close to the corner of the box, and that was just 2 times it happened. Otherwise, he was always in the middle of the pitch playing as a number 6, like a Rodri. So we don't expect Rodri to score. Sometimes he score a thunderbolt from outside nowhere, like take a shot from and then score. So
the chances of that happening are very small.
It's very slim. So from Cancelo, this is what we expect. He had 2 key passes in the game, 2 key passes and 1 shot in the game. And the 1 shot he took was around 40 yards out. He took it. He could score a hit because he has the quality. He could create a chance out of nothing because he has the quality. But the chances of that happening is very low with the position he is playing right now. So Pep is not going to play the same formation every game week because not every team is going to be like West Ham to go and counter them. So it's going to be different. So we still have some information to see what he's going to do, because I'm sure he's not going to do this against Liverpool. You cannot leave your fullbacks, like your wing backs, they are exposed like that, because Salah will stay, Diaz will stay, Klopp will tell them don't move, just stay there, and then Manchester City will force Cancelo and this other guy, what is his name, Walker, to go and drop, and then so that they can protect their defense. So it depends on the team and it depends on the player. But as we know, Pep, he likes to overthink things. He even said that. So, but I hope if he continues like this.
That's why I haven't won a Champions League yet, because he always overthinking, even with smaller teams. Yeah.
If he continues like this, Cancelo is not going to be important in FPL. That is my opinion. It's not going to be so important.
If you see any more of that, he's leaving because he's too expensive to be in a team as a defensive midfielder. Definitely, his price will drop like a I don't know, something.
But I think people will keep with him because he will be so attractive to watch, because he will be so good for Man City to play with, because you will see him on the ball all the time. But then you will not know that his attacking input is a different role of what he was playing. So that's why sometimes the eye test is very important, to see what is really happening.
Yeah, you need to watch the game. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But there's so many games you can't keep up, man. But the best thing to do is just to watch as many highlights and listen to pod and keep your ears to the ground, get as much information from people that have watched and analyzed, just get the summary. Yeah. So we're moving on to our captaincy matrix sticker for this week and the next few weeks.
Yeah. This week, I did not even change it. This is the 3 weeks.
The same way,
Kane and Son disappointed last week. We hope Haaland does not. He is the best captain to pick this week.
Haaland and KDB, they are the best option for this week against Bournemouth. The second best option is Salah versus Crystal Palace, which is going to be a bit kind of a tough game. The third is
your boys
and Bruno. My boys, I don't know why they're there, but anyway, no way.
They are premier players. They are premier for a reason.
There's no way. And then fourth, we have Wolves and Jimenez.
He's out,
injured, right?
Yeah, he's out. So
that means Neto or Potency, fourth choice against Fulham. And then fifth is Adams.
Adams did not play last week, so it's also something. All these 3 players, Watkins, he did not start. Adams. So you see the headlines Steven Gerrard is making. He even benched Watkins. Adams, Watkins, and Jimenez, they all did not play last week. So yeah, let's just focus on the first 3, the top 3. Those 3, it has to be another player from
Gerrard, man. Yeah, those 3, I think. For me, there's no looking at Bournemouth is Man City, like with one of the best teams in the league against Bournemouth, a promoted team. So there's no
ifs and buts,
overthinking it. There's no overthinking it. Honestly. That's it. Crystal Palace always give Liverpool a problem, even though Liverpool is playing at home. It's there's home advantage, but I think it's going to be kind of a difficult game, even though Liverpool will win. In my opinion, but then it's going to be. I don't think it might be a high-scoring game as people,
will anticipate. Okay.
Yeah. So therefore, the first one is probably the best one. I'm sure it's going to be the highest captaincy for the week.
Yeah,
Haaland or
but
KDB.
but
Most likely Haaland.
it looks like there's like a clear winner there, Haaland and KDB. It's because of the way the Manchester City team set up. It's just to create chances for Haaland. But the good thing is KDB is gonna be the one who is gonna create the chances. Of course,
Do the creating. Yeah, he might
so
even score a few too. So
yeah. I think he had a goal disallowed for offside in the last game. So yeah,
yeah.
you cannot rule out KDB for sure. But Haaland is really the clear winner in that one.
Okay, so
Finally,
I
your
think
team, right?
transfers is just me.
It's just you, yeah.
It's my team now. So in goal I have is
That's
that
your
my
team.
team? Yeah. No, Mendy, that's not my team. That's your team.
Did I mix up my team?
I think
Okay. Just go ahead with your team. I messed it up.
I'll just name my team right now. So I'm playing still 4-4-2. I've made one change. I think as quickly as possible. Kane for Haaland. That was my transfer for the week. I didn't have to wait for the price rise to even go. I knew what I wanted to make, and this was my plan going in to game week 1 because it was between Kane and Haaland. I decided to go with Kane, but then the second game week, which was Man City against Bournemouth, it was going to be Haaland.
Yeah.
So either way, so therefore I stuck to my plans for the first time in a while. So in goal, Mendy. I have Trent, Cancelo, Gabriel, James in defense. In midfield, I have Salah, Bailey, Rashford, and Luis Diaz. Up front, Captain Haaland, and then Jesus. So it's a good team. I kind of feel like it's still template, obviously, but then in the next 2 or 3, 4 game weeks, things might change, and then I think the players that might be leaving will be maybe Rashford, Bailey, James.
Rashford, Bailey, James.
Yeah, I might find a way to switch things around. Also, Luis Diaz can leave for Kulusevski, and then I have Darwin Nunes coming in for Jesus as my part of my second striker.
Nice.
I
think here is your team. Is this your team?
That's my team, yeah.
Okay, I got it sorted. Okay, can you go? Yeah, you say Mendy. You have Mendy in goal. You started with Mendy, right?
Yeah, he's still there. I don't know how I feel about Chelsea right now, but he'll be there because I don't like switching my keepers, so he might be there for.
Yeah, but I think it's a good double up. I think actually the 5 million and this 4 million is really a solid way to go. I have considered it for my wildcard, and I could even go around that end.
5 and 4.
Yeah. 5 and 4, 9 million. Because that's a good budget.
Not bad. Yeah, this is the first time in a while I've actually had a 5 million keeper in FPL. I usually go with the 4.5 and the 4.
So you made the Haaland move early, right?
Sorry?
Did you beat the price rise for Haaland?
I did, of course. I did it on Monday. As soon as possible.
I see a lot of FPL managers complaining. They say the FPL towers, why can't you just like at least lock the game for some time? People are forced to make move whilst like one day after the game week has ended. So they were complaining.
That's the thing. If you know that this is the move the people are making, if you like keep an eye on things, you know that the obvious choice is people are going to bring in Haaland. So why wait? What are you waiting for? Like for me, I already knew I was going to make the transfer anyway. So save myself the trouble. Yeah. So
definitely.
Even though there's a risk of the injury happening and all these things, but I knew that like there was no way. Even though I had money in the bank, I had 0.5 million in the bank. I could make it. It was not a problem at all. But I just wanted to just beat the price.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think that's that. That's the end of the pod. I think
we are both going Haaland, right, Captain? So
definitely, this is not even
nothing much to talk about, right?
Nothing much to talk about there. So that's already captaincy now is becoming a bit more direct, more boring because nobody wants to take a risk anymore.
Nobody want to take the risk there.
Nope, no way, man, no way. So yeah.
So
yeah. Finally, anything we forgot to mention? I think we've already covered a lot of bases.
I think we covered it. It all. It was an interesting one. My voice has been a bit, but all good.
Hopefully, we'll talk about your wildcard and how well you did, and see
if
you're ahead of the curve. Yeah, ahead of the curve, so we can also catch up there as well.
No,
You
right
go
now
ahead
I'm
and
catching up. Right
tell
now I'm
us,
trying to catch up.
yeah, tell us what's happening there in the future, so that we can also start transferring our teams. Okay, so thank you guys for listening. As always, we are the Kotu Classic FPL podcast. Chama, give the plug, and then
Yeah, guys. Don't please consider subscribing to the Jollof Football Bantaba YouTube channel, which is the channel for the Code Classic FPL podcast and other podcasts. And yeah, like and subscribe to the video. Like and comment on the video. Tell us what you think. And may your arrows be green. May your FPL arrows be green. I think this is the first week we're gonna see the actual green and red thing. At least
yeah.
game week one was not about red or green. It was just about the start. So at least that is my consolation.
Yeah. Thanks you guys. Thank you guys for always supporting the pod. Hopefully we all get a good game week 2, and things
Yeah,
will evolve from there. Catch
definitely.
you guys on the next one.